So you've started with NGS and you have no idea who this Matoi, Io, or Risa are that everyone says is best waifu, or why all these conspiracy theories are coming up about Nefarious and the ancient Bansers. Maybe you've just been playing for a while but never knew why we were fighting the things in the urgent quests, just that we needed to defeat them. Well, this video is going to start a series of PSO2 story in a nutshell, where I try to cram in as much relevant knowledge into as short of a video as possible. Before we get into that though, for those who are new here, my name's Zan and I make NGS videos weekly here on YouTube and stream on Twitch every Friday night. That link's in the description below if you'd like to visit. With that intro out of the way, let's get started. Before diving into the main story, we do meet a couple of people in the tutorial who will become important later on. First is Afin, a Newman Ranger and everyone's favorite fake Aussie, the human mentor-like hunter Zeno, and his Newman Force teammate Echo on the comm. The training goes sideways with an influx of fall spawn, and ends with you and Afin trying to fend off a giant fall spawn named Dark Ragni while Zeno prepares to unleash a photon blast. Personally, it probably would have been more effective to not be so flashy and just kill it, but it's the end of the tutorial. Episode 1 starts off with you meeting this extremely cryptic glowing woman who introduces herself as Xian. She gives you something called a Divergence Matrix and tells you to go to the planet Nefarious. You can ignore the Divergence Matrix as that was an in-game item that mattered until they removed the mechanic around episode 3. You go to Nefarious with Afin and run into a masked person in black and purple, wanting to kill you. After beating them back with the help of the headstrong human fighter Get-Em-Halt, they retreat. Get-Em-Halt then asks his Newman Force assistant, Melfoncina, about what the database says about you and the sword person. Their actual relationship is a lot deeper and almost worth its own video. You tell Afin that you heard a voice and find a human girl under a tree asking for help as she passes out. Getting back to the ship, you learn the girl's name is Matoi, but that's all she's able to remember. The first of many story introductions are to the Newman twins, Patty and Tia. They call themselves informants, and basically try to gather as much information as they can. The older Patty tends to prefer more gossip, while younger Tia tries to keep Patty in check the best she can. Also on the list of intros is a mysterious human assassin looking for a particular dragon, a loud human hunter named Oza, a reserved human force named Marlu, the gun-crazed caste Risa, and a human researcher named Aki and her Newman assistant Wright. These two are the focus for a bit of the story, as they're working on the planet Abduskia, trying to develop Ark's draconian relations by helping cleanse the evil toxins, or F-Factor, out of the leader of the High Clan, the denizens of the volcanic caves. Toxins isn't quite the right word, but I'll explain those more in later videos. After we've helped Aki with her issue, we find out that Matoi only talks to you and her human nurse, Philia. She says that talking to others almost feels traumatizing, but that she feels comfortable talking to you, and she's not sure why. Xian gives you another Divergence Matrix, and you move on to the next part of the story. This time, you're exploring the planet Lilipa, initially starting with helping an injured caste named Fourier, with a brief visit with the assassin and the dragon she's been looking for. You also find Get-Em-Halt and Cena, where the former is attacking a random automaton for no reason. He attempts to punch the Lilipans, but Fourier blocks the punch. He then spouts out that they're all going to turn, so you might as well take him out now before they suffer. Basically showing a textbook case of he's not wrong, just a jerk. Even Fourier agrees that she's probably just kicking the can down the road, but she's still holding out hope. After that, you go back to the ship for another Matrix and back to Nefarious. Here you learn a little more about Zeno and how he's photonically more suited for Ranger, but he can't help but protect others, so he's a hunter, even if it is more difficult for him. Cutscenes also include a human girl named Sarah, more information from Cena about her relationship with Get-Em-Halt, being introduced to the human force Claris Craze and learning about her and the rest of the Council of Six, a Newman girl named Ulk who's dealing with the loss of her dream to get into ARCs because her photonic aptitude wasn't high enough, a Newman named Theodore who isn't fit for the battlefield but signed up because it was the in thing to do, a washed-up caste swordsmith named Zig who longs for the inspiration to swing his hammer once again, and the human researcher Rohio, who's the catalyst for the next part of the story. Rohio wants us to explore the tundra on Nefarious, as it doesn't seem meteorologically right, and he figures there's something about it that's being covered up. While exploring, you run into the dark person from the forest and find out their name is Persona the Masked. They are Dark Falls, a personification of F-Factor that's currently looking for something, but is willing to fight you instead, as it seems to solve the same purpose. You fight them off again and discover what they were looking for, a piece of a rod. Bringing this back to Zig is the spark he needed, and requests the rest of whatever this weapon is, that way he can repair it. With that, it's time to go back to Xian for another Matrix. Not much going on with this one, but you head back to Lilipa to find yet another shard after fighting with Persona again, thanks to the help of the Lilipan. You also have some sub-story with Ulk trying to get in as backup for personnel. You also have a scene with Theodore lamenting his regret of signing up, saying he wished he could have given his friend his photons for her to live out her dream. These are the first scenes where it becomes obvious in the story that they're talking about each other. There were hints before, but not really confirmed. After Matoi gets one of many tongue lashings from Philia and picking up another matrix from Shion, the story moves back to Anduskia with Aki and Wright. Meeting up with the pair on Anduskia's floating continent, you find that Aki has been very assertive in her attempts to sway the favor of the Ko-clan. So much so that one scene has a Draconian telling you to call her off. You also run into the assassin in her quarry in 2 different scenes. Eventually, the Draconians relent and allow you to meet their leader, Rokamitz. Persona shows up while you're being escorted, and the Draconian escorting you says to continue on, and they'll deal with the intruder. You finally meet Rokamitz, and she asks you to fight a quartz dragon to prove your worth. For winning the fight, we receive the last weapon shard and bring it back to Zig. You also get some good news that someone decided to make a special exception for Oak to join Arx as an operative. Theodore's finally out of his dark cloud, Aki's becoming good friends with the quartz dragon you fought named Korela, Zig's done with the weapon, and everything's coming out Millhouse. At least until the fall spawn attack ship 128, the Themis. Cena runs into you and asks if we'd assist her before running off with Regius, the cast leader of the Council of Six and part of the Trio of Heroes. Afterwards, we find out that Zig's workshop was on Themis, and the weapon he had been working on was stolen, and Ulk was on the list of casualties from the invasion. After a quick layover with Shion, Rohio contacts us with information on his research, saying the forest on Nevarius is natural, but the tundra shouldn't exist. He goes down to investigate, and next thing we know, he's vanished. Sarah appears again saying go to Lilipa before running off, where you find Fourier has been hiding Rohio after an assassination attempt. Come to find out, the soil samples are rich in F-factor, so he thinks that the fall spawn created the tundra. But why? And why would someone feel the need to kill him? What's going on under Nevarius? You go off to the ruins of Nevarius to find out, running into Sarah, Claris Craze, Regius, and Maria, a cast hunter. Maria gives you the truth behind the white lie, and that the ruins are actually part of a great battle 40 years ago. She, Regius, and another member of the council sealed Darkfall's elder in Nevarius. Unfortunately, we find the third person gave their life up during the sealing ritual. But we soon found out that the key to the lock was the weapon that Zig was repairing, and that Gedemholt was stealing it from Zig's workshop while Cena babysat us. In his quest to find the ultimate opponent, he came up with the brilliant idea to unlock Elder, that way he could introduce them to the ways of the punch. Of course, that plan went swimmingly, and Gedemholt became the new host to Elder. Everyone makes a tactical retreat, with Kasra, the newest member of the Trio of Heroes, and Zeno distracting Elder enough to allow for the retreat. Kasra soon shows up, saying that they both attempted to run, they split up, and Elder followed Zeno. This leaves Echo in shambles, wondering what happened to Zeno, but hopeful that he's still alive. A new Matrix later, we find ourselves in Cena stuck in this hellish world. Players know this is the Fall Spawn Den, home of the Cradle of Despair urgent quest. Through this, we discover that Cena's been dealing with her own past traumas and mistakes, since we find out that her older sister was the real Melfon Cena, who died in an attack by Darkfall's apprentice 10 years ago. She feels like it was all her fault, since they were protecting her because she was so worthless. Like I said before, this could get its own master's thesis, so I'll leave it for another video. TLDR, she feels like she killed her sister in the Joy and Gedemholt's life, so she became his servant to atone for it. It's much deeper than that, but I'll explain later. After escaping, she tells you her real name is Melrandia, but isn't ready for that info to be shared yet. In a complete 180, you then meet Huey, the overly enthusiastic human fighter, also of the Council of Six. He comes up with an idea to have a tournament, which you participate with Afin in. After that, the two of you go to Lilipa to discover Darkfall's apprentice looking for something. She fights the two of you, eventually running off, earning you a shiny new matrix from Shion. The last arc involves the assassin and her target. You talk with the arc's famous idol Kuna and find out she's actually the assassin, foiled by her singing to herself on Amduskia while you walk past her. Oh, and Hadrid, the dragon, finally shows his face around her. The story then focuses on them with conversations involving Kasra and the discovery that she is number 0 of the Council of Six. We also find out that Hadrid was tested on and mutated to what he is now, sacrificing himself since Kuna was initially the intended subject. After finding out he's been suffering and basically ending his pain, we have a short montage that now causes Zungi ninjas to appear whenever hearing Eternal Encore. Oh, and there's this creepy dude named Luther looking for Shion. But that's for next time. And with that, we wrap up the first episode of PSO2. I plan on putting these sort of videos out when NGS is on cruise control, so I should have most of these done within the next couple of months. I do want to get the Gedemholt and Melfon Cena video out sooner than later, which means it might be the next video. Either way, if you like the video, press the like button. If you want to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and clicking on the bell icon lets you know as soon as they get uploaded. If there's something you think shouldn't have landed on the cutting room floor, let me know in the comments below. Do be cautious of spoilers until after the videos are out, in case there's someone who'd rather go video by video. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time. Have a good one.